Russian ground forces currently and has operated several designs of tanks, one of which is the T-80. In this and the next couple of videos that come out, I will be going into detail and explaining the history of the T series of tanks fielded by both the Soviet Union and the Russian Federation. The T-80 is a Russian medium tank that was designed along with the T-64 and T-72 designs. There was an underlying problem within the Russian military that had caused the creation of the T-80 family. For starters, they had the T-62, a decent, cheap-to-make tank. Secondly, they had the T-64, an advanced but more unreliable design. And third, they had the T-72, much cheaper and simpler than the previous. The primary problem was that the T-64 was too complex, the T-72 was too basic, and the T-62 was both problems. And so they gave the job of a new tank to the Kirov plant in Leningrad, not the same team that created both previous designs such as the T-64 and T-72 tanks. Their idea was simple. It would use a gas turbine engine instead of diesel. This would benefit it to start and work better in the cold climate of Eastern Europe. The T-80 was meant for Soviet troops that would have to go fight NATO, and so the T-80 was adopted in 1976 after many testing. Just to list off the tank's features, it had this: 125mm smoothbore cannon, autoloader, composite armor, great acceleration, and good horsepower. All this prompted the Soviets to upgrade their new tanks starting in 1978. It started as the T-80B. The T-80B was given a better fire control system, better armor, and a gun that could fire anti-tank guided missiles, aka ATGMs. In so, it was better at stopping kinetic energy and chemical energy threats. It had better internal spacing, and etc. The variant after it became known as the T-80BV. This variant was designed in 1985. The T-80BV featured Contact 1 explosive reactive armor all over it. This protected against high explosive, anti-tank munitions, and anything shot at it that used a shaped charge. Now with that, the tank is much more survivable to be in. In the late 80s, after the T-80BV was finalized, the T-80U was put into production. The T-80U is a drastically different and improved compared to the earlier B and BV designs. Its armor had steel, ceramics, air gaps, and many non-metal fillers. The second change that made it much harder to destroy was improved explosive reactor armor, aka ERA, switching from earlier Contact 1 to Contact 5 ERA. Unlike Contact 1, this one interfered with kinetic energy penetrators and chemical as well, doing both better in a job. The goal of this ERA is to stop 20 to 30% of penetration by kinetic energy threats. However, the weak spots stayed the same in all designs. There was still a weakness at the lower front plate, driver's port, roof, and autoloader. Additionally, the T-80U could fire the 3BM-42 Mango round and the 3BM-46 Svinets round. Both were improved with armor and armor-piercing rounds, compared to earlier 3BM-22 and 3BM-15 rounds. In a much later period, the T-80BVM was its final official upgrade. The T-80BVM featured a new armor package as well, along with new ammunition to carry. It carried relic ERA instead of the earlier Contact 5 ERA. Cage armor in some cases is used on these to set off an early release of heat and HE shells, aka high explosive anti-tank and high explosive. Relic was the replacement, due to it being able to be fitted on the side of the tank and cover more area on the front. It was more effective, or so it is thought to be, more effective against newer APFSDS munitions. The T-80BVM was now able to carry the 3BM-60 in a later period. The 3BM-60 is equivalent to the Western DM-53 and the American M829A3, as it is a relatively new shell. Overall, the T-80 became harder to kill frontally, but very killable when used poorly. It had many upgrades, many shortcomings, but is still being used today since 1976. There are also many prototypes, and foreign variants along with these. The first is the Object 478. The Object 478 is a Ukrainian-designed T-80. It was given a diesel engine instead of a gas turbine, lessening its consumption for fuel. This was made in Kharkiv, Ukraine, and it later became the T-80UD, then the T-84, and then the Oplot, and so on. The next is the Object 640. Developed in 1997 and through 2001, and built by Almsk-Transmash. This was an improved T-80 variant built by the Russians. It was a deeply modified T-80U chassis featuring an elongated turret and different ammo storage system. Its autoloader system was different, as they tried fixing anything wrong with earlier Soviet tank design. It was only a test bed until the government killed it in 2001-2002. The Russian economy wasn't doing well, and the Omsk Design Bureau collapsed along with it, leaving the Object 640 left untouched since then. In the 90s, a new T-80 was also being tested, this time with a hard-kill active protection system. Its purpose was to test the Arena active protection system to see if the T-80 could mount such a system. Only one known prototype was built and later destroyed in 2022 in the Ukraine conflict. In all, the T-80 was more expensive and the younger brother of earlier designs such as the T-64, T-62, T-55, and T-72. It proved beneficial to the Soviets and to the Russians. It is currently in use in countries today like South Korea, Russia, Ukraine, and so many other countries that I cannot name. If you'd like to see another tank history video, leave it in the comments and provide a tank and I will consider it. Thanks for watching. This is Speed and Power.